In less than 2.5 minutes, Grafton Police Chief Jeff Caponera found the car I drove to this interview.
This one, that's us. Wow. You got us.
A camera installed on I-43 near the Washington Street exit captured images of our SUV and every other vehicle that passed the camera.
You can nail it down. So precise.
Yeah, it really narrows our search.
Information from those vehicles is put into a national database where police can check for wanted criminals, amber, silver, and green alerts. It even checks how often a vehicle passes each camera.
This one's been through the area 14 times in the last 30 days.
It is called a flock safety camera. Grafton has 8 of them. 3 were bought privately and put up in the heavily trafficked retail area called the Commons, which has a Costco, a Kohl's, and Ulta. That's an area that's vulnerable.
Very vulnerable. Ulta specifically has been targeted a lot for their fragrances and their perfumes.
Grafton police say the technology helped solve several crimes in the 2 months since they have it, including a homicide, retail theft, and indecent exposure.
We didn't even have a plate. We just had a vehicle description. We were able to identify who that person was. We don't even have to wait for our dispatch to tell us because they get an alert automatically. Wow. And it's usually within 3 to 5 seconds.
This AI technology is so sophisticated that it can even narrow down the search results to specific damage on a vehicle if it has a tow hitch or even a bike rack. But what about your privacy?
We're not out there just searching plates randomly.
Chief Caponera is well aware of those who may be weary.
And there's a footprint that goes behind there that I can tell who the officer was, when they looked at it, what time they looked at it, and why.
Each camera costs $2,500, but the chief believes it has been well worth the investment and left this warning to criminals.
You're going to get caught if you come to Grafton.
And the question to our experts is, does this violate a person's right to privacy? All right, Donald Schweitzer, does this go too far?
Well, I guess it depends on who you're talking to. You know, it's not a violation of the Fourth Amendment because this information, the images, they're in the public domain. But certainly it makes people pause and think, hey, you know, is law enforcement going too far? Well, my answer to that is that law enforcement today does a very good job of protecting this type of information. When I started as an officer, we had free access to everything. And slowly but surely they clamped down on that. And you don't really have access except for official purposes nowadays. Having said that, this information could always be dangerous in the hands of somebody that's not doing their job, which means that we need professional people, educated people, people that are committed to doing the right thing, holding these jobs.
You know, Donald Schweitzer, one of the issues with folks who have a problem in terms of privacy is that they claim there's no empirical data that this actually works. Do you think it makes a difference if it's actually extremely effective or not, or if, as Dr. Taylor mentioned, maybe they're picking up people who are not innocent people oftentimes because the technology perhaps doesn't work as well as advertised?
Yeah, it all comes down to what we're willing to trade off. You know, without a doubt, our liberty is being traded for security. That always happens. It's what happens in the airports. So there has to be a real return on your investment, right? This stuff has to be working. If I could tell you from an old cop's point of view, this stuff works. I mean, you know, this data is pretty good information. The question is it going to be abused, and what kind of safeguards are going to be employed to make sure that people aren't abusing this stuff?